we go. So 3 deep breaths. Do you want eyes open, eyes closed?
Still eyes closed.
Okay. Yeah. I'll follow you.
Okay. So just closing your eyes, taking one deep breath through the nose in, holding there for a moment, and breathing out through the nose, through the mouth. Holding there for a moment, and then just repeat that in through the nose. Holding there for a moment, and then out through the mouth. And one final breath in through the nose. Hold there and then out through the mouth. Nice, yeah.
We'll just stop there. Fabulous, thank you. So who are you? What do you do and where are you from?
Yeah, so my name is Tom Freeman. I work for Headspace, and in terms of where I'm from, it's a good question. I won't go too deep with it, but I grew up in England, moved to America about 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm more British or American at this point. But hey, we're all from somewhere.
Exactly. Global citizen.
Well, maybe, yeah. My accent changes depending where I am.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, that's who I am in a nutshell.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what does living a good life mean to you?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I think there are so many components that go into it. So I guess closest to home is starting with the self, the things that come to mind.
Yeah.
Things like self-compassion and gratitude.
Yep.
So definitely growing up, I've been very hard on myself, and meditation and mindfulness and I guess age experiences help me see that that's not always so helpful. Beating ourselves up is something that sometimes we're taught that can be good. For whatever reason, it might help you perform better, but over time I've seen it actually not very helpful.
Yeah.
So self-compassion, learning to reframe maybe the inner voice, the inner critic can be helpful.
Yeah.
Still definitely always comes up from time to time.
Yeah.
But learning just to reframe that, being like, oh, how can I maybe reframe it to speak to a friend instead? So that's one part of it. Gratitude is also another part of it. Something I try and cultivate. I have a journal app.
Yeah.
I put in 3 things every evening. It's kind of part of my
Yeah.
routine.
Yeah.
So gratitude shows that whatever's going on, ups and downs, that there are small things and big things that we can be grateful for.
Yeah.
So starting with the self, there's self-compassion and gratitude that come to mind for that, and then outward for me is community, definitely, and yeah, lots of different parts of that. But I believe that work can be a great place of community,
Yeah.
and replacing things that historically might have nurtured us there, but now we're moving away from for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And also just like volunteering in society is a big thing I'm really keen on in terms of connection, meaning, and people coming together and stuff. So community is a huge part of it for me.
Excellent. So you're going to get to pick one of those in a moment.
Yeah.
So what intentional activity would you say has had the greatest impact on your life?
Yeah, it's actually been something in the past couple of years, I think, which is community.
Yeah.
I volunteer for a food bank in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And food insecurity is a huge problem there, and unfortunately not just there. I've been volunteering for a couple of years now, and there's a growing group of people that come together every Sunday morning, and we source food from all over LA, and companies and grocery stores donate it, and then we sort it together as a group, and then we have people line up and we just give them a bag of groceries. And for me, it's like had a huge impact, I think, because there's the community element to it, like literally coming together with all different kinds of generations. We have students, we have retired folks, people from all over the city, so there's a really great connection part of it.
Lovely.
There's the environmental impact,
Yeah.
the food that's being saved, so that's kind of benefiting this generation, but also future generation, so it kind of lives on in a way, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Like the intergeneration side of what we can do now.
Yeah.
And then of course there's people benefiting and getting a bag of groceries that would have been thrown away.
Yeah.
So for me there's all these different levels of connection and impact, I think, now for communities, but also further on. So like when come together and we do this every Sunday, you can see all these things come together.
Yeah,
And
that's amazing.
it's just this amazing community of people that come together and meet all kinds of people. So for me, it's had a huge impact, and it's hard work, but yeah, for me, it's just become kind of my church. Every Sunday, we come together for a shared meaning, and we don't sing hymns yet, but it feels like my church in terms of like community and something bigger. So for me, it's had a huge impact.
Love it. So it might touch on the next question then, which is what intentional activity do you think could make the biggest difference in your community?
Yeah. I think definitely that's one part of it. I think there's those reasons I touched on, but also I think, in my experience and observation, is cities anyway, people can get more disconnected. Los Angeles is interesting because everyone drives and public transport isn't so great, so it feels quite broken up. And not every community is like that, but I think there is the benefit that comes from just being together and understanding your background and your history. So I think every community could benefit from something like that brings people together to a shared sense of connection and impact. It doesn't have to be food, it could be lots of other things, right? Education, loads of things. But as folks are getting more, in my observations, like disconnected, more, there's greater distance between political views. Folks, we know loneliness is a huge thing, isolation is a huge thing. For me, there has to be something in how we come together, particularly intergenerationally. I think there's something really nice about that, because we have so much to learn from each other. And if we don't do that, we just kind of assume and we jump to assumptions about people or generations, and that's something, what I try and stay away from. So these moments where we can come together, be it a food bank or something else, we can really bring people together and help us overcome these feelings of isolation and all of those things that we're seeing. So for me, that's definitely.
So a one-line message of hope for the world, what might that be?
Hope for the world. I think being part of this community, seeing it go from a very small thing, a seed, to something that's spreading, change is possible, and like change can happen.
Definitely.
And again, I know this is one example of a food bank, but like it was one person's vision. Her name was Natalie, she's based in LA, and she had this vision of how we need to fix this thing. It literally started with her and a couple of people in a parking lot, and now it's huge. So one small idea, one small seed can grow to a huge thing. So change is possible. It's hard, yes, and uncomfortable, and takes a lot of hard work, but it is possible, and it can benefit so many people and their mental, physical health. So there are loads of examples of that, but like I think if you have a strong idea or vision of a change that you want to see, either it's waste that's food waste that can be redistributed or something like that, there are definitely ways that we can improve that, and change is possible. Hard but possible. So I've seen it, it can happen, and that definitely is possible.
And are you up for a heart-to-heart hug?
I am.
So it goes that way, because a lot of people go in that way, but so bring it in.
Okay. Thanks so much for this. It's been a lot of fun.
I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Awesome.